Kodak Black's sound lives in the shadows. Some of his best songs are built on melodies that feel dark, haunting, and distant, like something once beautiful, now weathered by time and pain. Take Tunnel Vision for example. That haunting flute loop isn't just catchy, it's unsettling.
Kodak, they don't like to see you winning. They wanna see you in a penitentiary.
Then there's Roll in Peace. Simple piano chords but drenched in pain.
I can even roll in peace, why? Everybody notice me, yeah. I can even go to sleep.
Or On Everything, dark and hypnotic, that sticks to your head.
Hiding dope in my dress, crackers in my left.
His sound is built on samples that feel like they've lived through something. And that's the secret to Kodak's sound. They don't try to impress you, they invite you to feel something. So in today's video, I'm breaking down one of my melodies, and together we'll explore how to build samples that live in that same emotional space. I kind of already knew what I wanted the sample to feel like, isolated and almost paranoid in a sense. And I think that's the key when you're making samples for someone like Kodak. Do not start with what sounds cool. Start with a feeling and let the emotion dictate your sound. To build the foundation for the sample, I started with a guitar from Contact. I laid down a really simple melody with just a few notes, nothing too fancy. And that right there is the main body of the sample. It sounds repetitive but catchy at the same time. Once I had the guitar locked in, I brought in a layer of mallets. Again, I kept the pattern super simple. Just a few notes echoing the vibe of the guitar, almost like it's responding to it. You can hear it's soft and subtle, almost like a background noise. But that's the whole point. It adds texture without pulling attention away from the main idea. To add some movement, I brought in this short string phrase. It's a weird little sound, but that's what makes it work. Something that pops in and out and keeps the sample from being too flat or too repetitive, and all I did was clean it up with a simple EQ. Now this next layer is one of my favorites, the flutes. The flutes tend to always work in dark samples, especially when you want that eerie emotional vibe. I played a melody that sits right with the guitar, nothing too loud or busy. The delay here is doing the heavy lifting. It fills those little gaps between the notes so the flutes never feel dry or too empty. For the B section of the sample, I wanted to bring in something fresh, so I added this trumpet phrase. This is how the original loop sounded with no effects. I did not use the whole thing straight away. Instead, I chopped it up into two different parts. One for the first part of the B section and another variation to follow it up. The goal here was to give the sample some contrast without changing up the vibe too much. Both parts are simple, but they each have different energy. One feels more tense, while the other feels more open. To finish off the sample, I added a percussion loop in the background just to add some more texture. You might not notice it right away, but without it, the sample feels a bit too empty. Once the sample was done, I moved on to the master chain to bring everything together and give the sample that final polish. And here's a breakdown of every plugin I used. First up is RC20. I added a little bit of noise and wobble to give the whole sample a slightly vintage, unstable feel. It adds movement, warmth, and just a bit of grit that keeps it from sounding too clean. Next is Vintage Warmer 2. This one adds saturation and compression, kind of like running your mix through analog gear. It gave the sample more punch and brings up the perceived volume without killing the dynamics. Then I've used Shadowell's Mastering Compressor. This plugin helps glue everything together. It smooths out the mix and keeps all the layers in check, especially the high frequencies from the flutes and the trumpets. And finally, a basic EQ to do some cleanup. This step is just about balancing everything out and making sure nothing is clashing with each other. And here's the full preview of the final sample. And that wraps up the full breakdown of the sample I built, inspired by Kodak himself. If you like the sound of this sample, I'm sure you're gonna love what I've just dropped, my brand new sample library called INCARNATE. It features 20 unique and experimental samples, just like the one you heard in this video. Perfect for artists like Future, Gunna, Migos, 21 Savage, and much more. Hit the first link in the description to check it out. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.